All right, continuing on Genesis 1, 1 to 2, which we are following along with the study on creation versus evolution. It's always good to tool along with especially the key account of creation in the Bible, Genesis chapters 1 and 2. There's so much to consider here. So we're still on Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. We're just about ready to finish it up. So we look at Genesis, Genesis chapter 1. And we want to look at studies done by renowned physicists. Look for a renowned physicist about Genesis 1, 1 and 2. Look at the verses there. Now the earth was formless, and the Spirit of God was moving over the waters. So the earth was formless, not chaotic because it reflected evil, but because before the land appeared on the surface of the earth, its surface was a watery and formless one, liquid water having no form of its own. God had not yet gotten to the step, which in verse 9, when the waters would be gathered to one place so as to let the dry ground appear with formations. And Mr. or Dr. Baugh, in his work, said these verses, Genesis 1, 1 to 2, show that even on the first day of creation, before God created light, God created the earth in a watery form. And this is extremely important. Let's just consider this slowly and not try to put billions of years on this. How about just a literal 24-hour day? Studies done by renowned physicists such as Dr. Russell Humphreys show that each molecule of water possesses a small electromagnetic field. When these molecules are aligned, the result is a composite electromagnetic charge of all the molecules of water that are aligned. When all of these molecules are in a composite alignment, you have the composite energy of all the molecules. God began by creating the earth first in all the universe, even before creating the electromagnetic spectrum of light into the heavenly bodies, such as the sun and the stellar heavens. Earth first. God first created the earth as a sphere of water. The life forms that God would create on day number 3, vegetation, plants, trees, being in botanical form, would require this water. On day number 5, God would design the fish and fowl. Each of these creatures would require this water. On day number 6, God would create insects, dinosaurs, man and woman, before the day was finished. Note that God, the Holy Spirit, was actively involved in creation. The Spirit, Ruach, can mean wind, breath, or spirit, depending upon context. Here the context demands that the word mean God, the Holy Spirit, as God alone is creator. Isaiah 40:28. So the Holy Spirit is God. And so God, the Holy Spirit, moved, hovered, also shaked, fluttered, Jeremiah 23:9 and Deuteronomy 32:11, over the surface of the waters, a purposeful vibration in order to accomplish the next stage in creation, and that of energizing the matter of the universe. It's a lump of clay. Let's get to energizing it. So, just fixing my feet here. You get old and your feet get to be cranky. It is significant that the transmission of energy in the operations of the cosmos is in the form of waves, light waves, heat waves, sound waves, and so forth. In fact, except for the nuclear forces which are involved in the structure of matter itself, there are only 2 foundational types of forces that operate on matter: gravitational and the forces of electromagnetic spectrum. All are associated with the field of activity and with transmission by wave motion. Waves are typically rapid back and forth movements, and they are normally produced by the vibratory motion of a wave generator of some kind. Energy cannot create itself. It is most appropriate that the first impartation of energy to the universe is described as the vibrating movement of God the Holy Spirit himself. As the outflowing energy from God's omnipresent Spirit began to flow outward and to permeate the cosmos, gravitational forces were activated and water and earth particles came together to form a great sphere moving through space. Other such particles would soon come together also to form sun, moon, stars throughout the universe. There was now a compass, a circle on the face of the deep, and the formless earth had assumed the beautiful form of a perfect sphere. It was now ready for light and heat and other forms of enlivening energy. So Dr. Humphreys continues in his book, Starlight and Time. God creates a large 3D space, and within it a ball of liquid, the deep. The ball is greater than 2 light years in diameter, large enough to contain all the mass of the universe. 2 light years is surprisingly small compared to the later size of the universe, but it is still huge, about 12 trillion miles or 20 trillion kilometers, compared to us being more than 1,000 times greater than the diameter of our solar system. Imagine floating on the face of the deep and gazing down into its unimaginable depths. That is why I think God called it the deep. Because of the great concentration of matter, this ball of water is deep within a black hole, whose event horizon, the point at which light rays trying to escape a black hole bend back on themselves, is more than 500 million light years away. The Earth at this point is merely a formless, undefined region of water at the center of the deep, empty of inhabitants or feature. The deep is rotating slowly, and there is no visible light at its surface. At the instant God creates it, the light, because this enormous mass of the whole universe is contained at this point in a ball of relatively small size, the gravitational force on the deep is very strong, more than 1,000,000 trillion Gs. This force compresses the deep very rapidly toward the center, making it extremely hot and dense. The heat rips apart the water molecules, atoms, even the nuclei into elementary particles, at which time then God continues his creative work. And we're looking at Genesis 1, 3-5. We'll begin that next time.